Hello Libra, this is your yearly tarot reading for 2018. Okay. Now this tarot reading will have 21 cards. It's the Grand Romani tarot spread. We'll get into some predictions, seeing what's going to be happening with career and relationship in all aspects of your life. So, cutting the cards. Okay, here we go. The first card is the Hangman in reverse. Well, it's the Hangman, it's not reverse, but obviously he's upside down. I have the Fool. I have a 9 of Wands reversed. I have Ace of Pentacles. I have Death. And then I have a Knight of Pentacles. Temperance. Okay, so there are 21 cards. These are the first 7 cards. There will be 3 rows of 7. I have a 3 of Swords. This is a 7 of Swords. I have a King of Cups. I have an 8 of Pentacles. I have a 4 of Cups. This is a 9 of Pentacles. I have a 5 of Swords. Next row, a 10 of Pentacles. I have a 5 of Pentacles reversed. I have a 4 of Pentacles. I have a 10 of Cups. This is a Page of Swords. I have the Hermit. And then I have a Queen of Swords. Okay, well, you're certainly represented here. So I want to point out a few things here. Okay, so like I said, there are many dimensions to this reading. Vertically, horizontally, row by row, column by column. Not just the particular elements, the Pentacles, the Cups, the Swords, the Wands, the major arcana. And so, if I could sum up what I'm seeing in 2018, if I could sum up, I would say that this will be a year of trusting yourself, believing in yourself, in spite of all the odds coming against you. I think that some of you Libras are going to feel like you're pushing against the odds. And that's because you've got some pretty intense major arcana cards that are telling me about change and adapting and being flexible. So looking at your major arcana first, you go from the hangman to the fool. Being trapped and then letting go. And then death comes and brings a transformation. Okay. So in Libras, this doesn't have to mean a breakup or necessarily a drastic situation with death. Um, I think that some air signs, especially, but Libra more than anything, are capable of just shutting off and going in a different direction. Especially in situations where a Libra is fed up. And most Libras keep their thoughts to themselves. They don't necessarily telegraph the other person or tell people, yeah, I'm done with this. You know, Libras keep their thoughts to themselves. And then they just switch off. They're like, okay, I'm ready to move on. So when I look at this hangman, when I look at some Libras beginning the year being sort of emotionally confused, not in a great place, lots of anxiety, I feel like some of you Libras are like, I feel hurt, I feel betrayed, I'm done with this. I'm done with this person, I'm done with the situation. And then that's when we come here to death. And it follows this new opportunity with an Ace of Pentacles. For some of you, it could be dating. For some of you, new job opportunities. So we have this death coming after the Fool and the Hangman, as if to say, I'm fed up and I am done. And then Temperance follows. So this first row beginning, because the way I'm reading this is not necessarily past, present, future, the way I've done with regular readings. I'm just reading at the beginning of the year, starting with this Hangman, and then to the last card here at the end of the third row with this Queen of Swords here. So what I've noticed here about this first row, you have 4 major arcana cards out of the 7. Adapting, big changes, and usually at the beginning of a new year. The astrological new year actually doesn't begin in March, but for the popular new year, you know, beginning in January, it's not uncommon for us to take directions that kind of shake things up in our lives, you know, moving old stuff out of the way, making way for the new, which is what the Fool and the Death actually have in common. Okay, so if I could describe what's going on in this first row, big shakeups. And it begins because you're fed up. And then in the second row, you have no major arcana cards. I'm looking card by card. I do not see any. And then in this last row, you only have the Hermit, which is being alone, contemplating. So I kind of feel that the beginning of the year with all these shakeups, the rest of the year is going to be spent adjusting and handling these new changes and these new directions that I feel like you've kicked into gear in your life. And this can apply to your relationships and it can apply to your careers. As you know, thousands and thousands of Libras are watching this. And so I think the one word that would apply to everyone in their situation is beginning the year, the first few months, with shakeups and changes, abrupt changes. Um, but this Temperance at the end is sort of saying you're doing it for a reason. You're going through these transformations for a reason. And because I see these 2 pentacles on either side of death and sandwiched between Temperance, I'm getting the sense that on the financial and career aspect of your lives, like I said, some new job opportunities will be coming to some of you. And so you get that offer with the Ace of Pentacles. And then the Knight of Pentacles, someone brings the actual offer, you act on that offer, you make a change. Some of you might be getting new jobs heading into March and April and May. Okay, so that's what I see with the major arcana cards. But also, um, swords. You have your swords, okay? And especially in the second row, Three of Swords, disappointment, healing. Some of you might still be in the process of healing. The Seven of Swords, which is about secrets. And sometimes it can mean someone's lying or cheating, dishonesty, um, information that's being kept from you. But don't discount that this Seven of Swords is embracing your energy as well, meaning you're flying under the radar. You're looking into things, and you're not necessarily, you're using your, after these shakeups, I feel like this Seven of Swords is coming along as you saying, okay, I'm healing, I'm dealing with these shakeups that are turning my life upside down, and I'm going to figure out a way to get back out on top. So the Seven of Swords, I'm actually seeing it as a useful energy to you. And then you have this Five of Swords, which is the card of defeat or something, winning a battle, winning or losing a battle here, a conflict. And I think it's also interesting that this Five of Swords is between a 9 and 10 of Pentacles, financial happiness and prosperity. In fact, you have a nice sequence of Pentacles, especially after the Ace and the Knight. You go from 8 of Pentacles to 9 of Pentacles to 10 of Pentacles. And then all of a sudden, you've got a Five of Pentacles reversed and a Four of Pentacles, a little bit of a setback. Because that 8, 9, and 10 of Pentacles, it's about growing and prosperity, career. The closer you get to the number 10, the closer you get to success, beginning a new cycle, achieving everything you want. So those numbers are resonating with me. But back to the swords. So you have a 3, 7, and 5 of swords here. And then in the following row, you have 2 more swords, a Page of Swords. You're using your acumen and your smarts and your wit to get to the heart of the matter. You're cutting through all the BS. You're looking out for your own happiness. And then we have this Queen of Swords at the very end, wisdom and clarity and renewal. Okay? And I think that's a good thing. It kind of feels like you're trying to heal, you're trying to get clarity, because I do feel, especially with air signs, but with Libras, that when we get hurt, when we deal with things that shake up our world, we like consistency. I keep referring to myself because I'm a Libra, but I do feel that Libras are very defensive. They don't like big shakeups. They don't like a lot of drama. And so all this drama from the beginning of the year, you're handling those relationship issues and conflicts. You're going with the ups and downs. And near the end of the year, with the wisdom of the Hermit as well, you're kind of coming out of this saying, okay, I'm going to be fine. I've healed. I've gotten over this change. I can adapt. And you're ready for the sequel. That's the best way I can say it. Like in that Rocky film, Rocky lost the fight in the first film, but he's planning a comeback in the second Rocky film, and he gets to try again, and this time he wins. So the theme that seems to be coming through me is making a comeback, getting things in order in your life. So yeah, those pentacles and swords. And I don't get a lot of cups here, except for this King of Cups reversed. And the King of Cups is just having emotional blockage, emotional issues. Okay. And once again, this can be the energy of someone with water. But it can also be giving me some information about our relationship issues here, because when cups are always reversed, we get depression, we get insecurities, we get we get a little bit of emotional distance. And some of us might be dealing with that in our relationship. But keep in mind, you do have a Ten of Cups here, which is a good sign. Achieving our relationship goals, getting back on an emotional even keel. It can even mean that a relationship that was damaged here, from what I can see going on in the second row, because you go from a King of Cups reversed, and then you have this Four of Cups. So yeah, actually you have Three Cups looking a little bit more closely. This King of Cups is reversed. Someone's being selfish, emotionally unavailable. Four of Cups, someone is still being self-centered. But then later on, it seems like with this Ten of Cups, things get back on track in the relationship. And keep in mind, you still have this Temperance cup, is this Temperance, which is emotional balance, peace, optimism, and hope. Okay, but this comes before all of that, I think. Okay, and as far as wands, you do have this Nine of Wands reversed. And this is usually a card where if you've learned your lessons, you see this young woman with her wand in her hand. She's preparing to defend herself, and she's defending herself based on the struggles that she's had in the past. Those wands are behind her. Okay. And she's doing what she needs to do to protect herself. She's being cautious. But when this is in reverse, once again, there's a little bit of fear here. It can mean that you didn't evaluate things as closely as you should have. Note how the Fool is about being carefree, letting go, new adventures. But I feel, as I said earlier, this is more about some of us breaking away from a lot of the drama and turmoil. And this Nine of Wands reversed is sort of signaling that maybe we're not being as cautious and defensive as we should be, or as we usually are, or most air signs. And so that's when we get into Ace of Pentacles and then Death here. But I don't see any other wands. We might be a little bit unsure. We might be in a precarious situation here with this new decision, because the Fool is always about breaking free. But I feel like with the turbulence of these first few months here, and then dealing with death, I think this Ace of Pentacles is bringing new opportunities that's going to bring this closure with death. Like, okay, I'm starting over, I have new opportunities. And then the Knight of Pentacles is going to get you there. The Knights bring change. Okay, and that's when Temperance gets us to a better place here. So I just actually read this first row here. But it's interesting how this is the only card with wands. But I think it is relevant here. And once again, I'm not discounting that some of these cards could be the energy of someone in your life. So you can take it as just general energy, not necessarily attached to a person, but definitely attached to a particular situation that might be going on between you and someone else. When we get here, remember what I'm seeing here. A lot of emotional unavailability with this King of Cups reversed. And then we have the Four of Cups, so someone's being emotionally unavailable. Sometimes in your relationships, distance, like, oh, if you don't want to talk to me, I don't want to talk to you either. And I think this second row, which has a lot of, there are a lot of swords here that are significant here, that are kind of giving me an idea of how you're handling these situations. As far as starting with this Three of Swords and then the Seven of Swords, trust issues, keeping things secret, hiding away from people, you might actually start making yourself unavailable. And then we deal with this King of Cups, an emotional reversal, pulling back emotionally, not being available emotionally. We have this Eight of Pentacles, and I think this is attached to those new career opportunities that the Ace of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles sort of ushered in earlier on in the year. Those new job opportunities or money issues or financial issues are up and running. And then the Four of Cups, we're still keeping, and these cups could actually apply to you, Libra, where emotionally you're just keeping things under wraps. You're not putting yourself out there emotionally. But in the meantime, between these sort of depressing cups, you've got the Eight of Pentacles and then a Nine of Pentacles. We're building up our prosperity. And then we get a Five of Swords, a potential conflict that you might be having with someone. It's almost as if you're avoiding conflict with someone, but they're not willing to let it be. Especially from what I'm seeing here with that Hangman at the very beginning. I feel like this Five of Swords is like, okay, let's discuss it. Let's try to resolve it. And this might be one of those types of discussions you have with a loved one or even at your job where you're like, this is how I see the situation. You might actually need to defend yourself here. And I think you'll probably do a good job. I don't necessarily see this as a bad thing. I think it's a conflict that you might have wanted to avoid, but you will need to address it. Especially seeing that this Three of Swords, you're dealing with the issues, the rejection or pain or issues that you went through with someone else, especially with that Seven of Swords. And so when you come to this Five of Swords, it's like, okay, you know, let's hash it out. Let's discuss it. But, you know, consider this a situation with this Five of Swords where whatever confrontation or discussion you're about to have, you're going to find yourself really defending yourself and standing up to someone. That's how I'm feeling this Five of Swords. Okay, so yeah, you focusing on the material, the career, and the money. I think in your material world, you'll continue to be stable a little bit here in the middle of the year, heading into the end of summer. When we come here, a little bit of a shakeup here with your Pentacles. Keep in mind, you've got two tens here. You have a Ten of Pentacles and a Ten of Cups. And those are very good combinations because the Ten of Pentacles is about material prosperity and a happy home and, you know, getting everything you want. Everyone has everything they need. There are no financial issues. But then it's weird that you have a Five of Pentacles that's reversed. And sometimes it can mean a period of poverty, because this is sort of like the poverty card. Sometimes it can mean a fear of poverty, okay, not having enough money. And it can mean like a really difficult situation that you're going to have to wait, because you'll see that in this card it's winter. But after winter comes spring, and this indicates a lot of stress, okay? When this is in reverse, it means having a little bit of regret. It means, interestingly enough, still suffering loss. But it's not as intense as being stressed out and losing, you know, and just losing everything. When this is in reverse, especially since it's next to a Four of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles reversed is about holding on to something, and you should be letting go. It's about being stubborn and greedy. And so it's interesting that you have all of this prosperity and abundance here with the Ten of Pentacles. But then a little bit of greediness and loss, some financial setbacks. But I'm not necessarily seeing this as devastating. I don't think it means that you're going to be poor, lose everything. I just think it means that with your prosperity, a little bit of adjustment, someone could be draining your resources, someone could be asking you to borrow money, you might have an unexpected expense here that might be coming up here. But I don't think it's going to be a huge setback, but be prepared for that heading into August and September. That there's prosperity, you've got enough money, you're secure and you're stable, but then suddenly there's a little minor setback here, needing to loan someone money, something unexpected where you're like, oh wow, this, so now I have to pay for this, an emergency or some other issue. So, but nevertheless, you have this Ten of Cups here. And this Ten of Cups is the emotional happiness and the joy. Once again, 10 is the number that indicates the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. And I feel like with this Ten of Pentacles and then this Ten of Cups, in spite of the minor setbacks, it feels as if you're making the important moves you need to make in your life, as far as, you know, defending yourself, having the discussions, pulling back. I feel like this is an indication that all the stress and issues that you went through in the second row are starting to pay off here. That you've prepared for, it could be that you've actually prepared for this setback. You are in a good position to where if someone, for instance, there could actually be a legal issue. Some of you are actually might be going through a divorce or separation. And so what I'm seeing here are, you know, you being financially stable, recovering from this argument or legal issue. There are still some setbacks and rearrangements you have to make with the other person, you know, as far as your home and your finances. But this Ten of Cups sort of resolves everything and you can get back to, you know, it's finally resolved and you're out in the clear. That's how I'm reading this for some of you. Romantically, yes. It feels as if the romantic issue is, for some of you, coming into the year with a lot of insecurities and not knowing where a particular person stands, if you're attached to a partner or if there's someone you're dating. And as I said, I kind of feel like some of you broke away. You might be breaking away from someone and just saying, I'm out of here, I'm done. And so this healing process and just being alone and just trying to sort things out, I kind of feel like some of you might be attached to people who are not completely out of the picture. And even with an argument, as indicated by this Five of Swords, I kind of feel that some of you Libras will get involved in an argument or disagreement or a little bit of drama. You'll say, I'm done with this, I'm walking away. And then as we head near the end of the year, there seems to be some effort for you to say, okay, I know where I stand. I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to talk it over. Because that's when we get this Page of Swords. In a Page of Swords, it can be about an actual delay, things that are held up. But I feel like in the context of these other cards, Libra, that this Page of Swords is a card about truth. It's about messages of, it's about being able to put an end to the conflict. That's what I'm seeing with this big discussion, or you revisiting your relationships and emotionally confronting, you know, your boundaries and making your needs clear to the other person. So after this Page of Swords, then we're followed by the Hermit. And the Hermit is alone, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not in a relationship. But the Hermit is seeking wisdom here. And it's sort of relevant that when we get to this Queen of Swords, we have some time alone to think about it. Then we have a Queen of Swords. We're wise, we're able to stand on our own, we're independent. And some of you may or may not make it out with a partner or a relationship. But I do know that it seems as if you know what it is you want. If some of you are saying bye to someone, if perhaps this death that shows up in the beginning of the year is a breakup for some of you, you will go through the healing process. But I feel as if new opportunities and a redo might be coming here in these last 7 cards. Because then we get to a Queen of Swords here. And this Queen of Swords is someone who's learned from mistakes. The Queen of Swords, she doesn't tolerate any BS. The Queen of Swords has the upper hand. And keep in mind, all air signs, mentally very sharp, very smart, figure things out. Intuition, there's a little bit of psychic energy as well. So whoever broke your heart or gave you issues here in the beginning, Libra, this entire second row is sort of indicating that you're going to get into a little self-preservation here. And you will sort of be able to have the confrontation or conversation that you need to have. And then in your material world, as far as your prosperity and career, you will still have abundance. You will still have that job security and financial security with a few speed bumps, a little bit of having to pay someone back or an unexpected expense, okay? But it's not going to disrupt the path that you're on at the end of the year. Better than before is a phrase that comes to me. Also, as we look at these individual columns here, those have meaning as well. This first column applies to your home. So, and this can be about home and family, your loved ones, your children. Hangman, lots of turmoil and chaos and healing with the Three of Swords. But then we get back on track with the Ten of Pentacles. For you, Libra, once again, the Fool, breaking away, walking away perhaps. Seven of Swords, still figuring things out. Maybe some of you might be angry, plotting revenge, but whatever it is, you are in defensive mode and you're thinking about how you can protect yourself. You're not sharing, you know, you've just kind of shut down. That's what I'm feeling with that Seven of Swords. Five of Pentacles, a little bit of a loss in your life. Not a big loss. If it's applying to relationships, it might mean that you're alone, you feel abandoned, but it's not going to be for very long. You're going to bounce back. This third row addresses people surrounding you, your friends and family. Once again, defensiveness, feeling to be prepared. And once again, those wands can be someone with fire energy. But once again, when this Nine of Wands is reversed, it kind of means lack of preparation, missing an opportunity. We go into a 10, a King of Cups, that's reverse. And this King of Cups reversed is someone emotionally being unavailable to you, someone shutting down. And then a Four of Pentacles, someone taking from you, someone being greedy, taking advantage of you, someone being extra stubborn. Okay, and so that kind of still gives me insight vertically about what might be going on as well with your loved ones or your partners. When we get here to this middle row, this middle column, this is your yes column. This is like, you know, you ask Santa, what will I get? Well, this is the tarot's way of saying what yes to whatever it is that, whatever possibilities or opportunities you're wondering about. And so with this looks very good. And my first impression with that column is definitely a sense of new possibilities that you didn't think were possible. If you're hoping for a romance to start opening up here, some of you are definitely going to get new opportunities for a new relationship. And also financial opportunities, because the Ten of Cups is also about a happy home, your dream come true. And I feel like, especially on the career path, a lot of you are going to achieve what you want in your career. Some of you are going to reconnect with friends also. You're going to open up a little bit more and discover that there have been people who've been rooting for you all along. So this is looking pretty good for you. When we get to the unexpected, things that you don't expect to happen, possible things. Once again, big closure here, death. And then Four of Cups, someone being emotionally unavailable. Maybe you're emotionally unavailable. And then a Page of Swords. Once again, the Page of Swords could be an important message, important information that you need to know, alerting you about, it's the card of truth, and it's also the card of putting an end to conflicts here. Okay. Maybe some of you Libra people are shut off from family and friends and you've determined you're never going to talk to them again. Some of the unexpected things is that this Page of Swords, especially since it's your element, you're going to have to confront a conflict here. And so this row here, this column I should say, is what you expect to happen but may not. So once again, you've got some financial opportunities here, especially Nine of Pentacles. The Hermit, being alone, that might not necessarily happen for you. Okay, but there's still this possibility for some of you, the financial prosperity, which has been confirmed here in the middle. The Hermit, you might feel that you're ready to hibernate and stay away from people. That might not be the case here. Okay, there are too many opportunities and possibilities. This might not happen, but the sense I'm getting as far as what your expectations are is some of you might be saying, you know what, for next year, I just want to make money and be happy later for love. Okay, may or may not happen just yet. You're not going to be alone, I don't think. So this last card, this last column, with the last card, Queen of Swords, this is definitely what's going to happen here. This is the for sure row. And once again, we have Temperance, which is that card of peace and joy and balance. Okay, but it's followed by this conflict here. Remember what I said, you having to defend yourself. Not a defending to the death. It's not going to be that terrible. It could mean an issue with, as I said, defending yourself, You've been avoiding conflict. There might be an unavoidable conflict or discussion that you will need to have. Okay. But after that conflict, these swords seem to be falling into place. That is when you have this Queen of Swords, the Queen of Wisdom and happiness and joy. And that joy is hard earned, you know. Um, Emotionally, she's healed from her wounds and she's learned from that, and she's in charge of her own happiness. Okay, she knows how to take care of herself. So, a lot of self actualization for you, Libras. But that is not a bad thing at all. Okay, and I feel like, once again, you know, Libras, I'd say for most of the year from the readings I've done, things have been pretty tragic for you. But definitely on the financial and career, lots of strong opportunities coming for you. And a real opportunity at happiness. I think there's cleaning house with the relationships, a cleaning house for you to really look back at what's happened and say, not, never again. I feel like there's a little bit of taking out the trash, if you will, about toxic relationships and people who keep hurting you or letting you down. So I think that from the Hangman, there's definitely a rebound from that. And the Fool is sort of like, I'm done with this, and then we bring on death. So I feel like there's a lot of rebound here in this first year. You're like, I'm done with this. I want something new. I'm done with this drama. And so that the rest of the year is going to be you sort of mentally pulling it together more than anything. And then it seems like everything will start falling into place. Okay, so that was your reading for 2018, Libra. And I want to thank you guys so much for your support. This has been like the end of my third year doing these videos, so I'm so thankful for the new subscribers. Thank you for your donations and your support as well. Every little bit helps. I'm grateful for people who keep requesting readings, so thank you so much for supporting me. I appreciate it, and I will definitely be seeing you in 2018, so I want to wish you a happy new year, happy holidays. Enjoy this time as always. Life is too short. And as always, I wish you love and light, and I'll be seeing you next year.